The next world war may never begin with missiles. It may begin with computer chips, with trade bans, with AI, with factories hidden inside Taiwan, and with two superpowers racing to control the future before the other side does. This is not the Cold War our grandparents knew. This is the new Cold War, and the battlefield is technology. For years, the world believed globalization would keep major powers connected forever. America designed the world's most advanced technology. China manufactured huge amounts of the world's products. Taiwan built the chips. Europe supplied critical machines. And everyone made money together. But underneath that system, a dangerous dependency was growing. Because modern civilization now runs on one thing: semiconductors. Tiny chips smaller than your fingernail now control nearly everything on Earth. Smartphones, AI systems, military weapons, satellites, electric cars, banking networks, power grids. The 21st century is no longer powered by oil alone. It's powered by silicon. And whoever controls silicon may control the future. That's why the rivalry between the United States and China has become far bigger than tariffs or politics. This is a struggle over technological dominance itself, a battle to decide who controls AI, who controls computing, who controls military technology, and who controls the global economy for the next century. And right in the center of this conflict sits one island, Taiwan. Most people don't realize how important Taiwan truly is. But behind the scenes, Taiwan may be the single most strategically valuable place on Earth. Why? Because of one company, TSMC. TSMC manufactures the majority of the world's most advanced chips, not ordinary chips. The cutting-edge processors powering artificial intelligence, military systems, cloud computing, and advanced smartphones. Some estimates suggest Taiwan produces around 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. That means if Taiwan's chip factories stopped operating, the global economy could experience chaos almost overnight. And this is exactly why the United States and China are locked in a technological arms race. America understands something critical. If China gains dominance in advanced chips, it gains enormous military and economic power. China understands something equally dangerous. If America controls semiconductor choke points, China remains vulnerable. So both countries are racing to secure the future before the other side can. That's the real Cold War. Not ideology, technology. The semiconductor industry itself is almost unbelievably complicated. Designing advanced chips is one challenge. Manufacturing them is another entirely. The machines required are among the most complex creations in human history. One company in the Netherlands, ASML, produces the world's most advanced UV lithography machines, the systems needed to manufacture leading-edge chips. Without those machines, producing cutting-edge semiconductors becomes nearly impossible. And the United States realized something huge. It didn't need to stop China militarily. It could slow China technologically. So Washington began using export controls. The strategy was simple: block China's access to advanced chips, block access to chip-making equipment, pressure allies like Japan and the Netherlands to cooperate, and prevent Chinese companies from reaching the frontier of AI computing. This became known as the Chip War. And it changed global politics completely. Because suddenly, semiconductors became national security assets, not just business products. The United States started restricting exports of advanced AI chips and semiconductor manufacturing tools to China. China responded with massive investments into domestic chip production. Billions upon billions of dollars poured into Chinese semiconductor companies. Factories expanded. Research accelerated. State-backed programs exploded in scale. Because Beijing understood something terrifying: if China cannot make advanced chips independently, it risks falling behind permanently in AI and military technology. And here's the scary part: this technological conflict is now reshaping the entire global economy. For decades, companies optimized for efficiency. Factories moved where labor was cheaper. Supply chains stretched across continents. Everything became interconnected. Now that system is breaking apart. Countries no longer trust dependence on geopolitical rivals. Instead of globalization, the world is shifting toward fragmentation. Factories are moving. Supply chains are being rebuilt. Governments are spending enormous amounts of money trying to secure domestic production. The United States passed massive semiconductor investment programs. China launched huge state-backed technology initiatives. Europe, Japan, South Korea, and India are all trying to protect their own strategic industries. The era of cheap, fully globalized technology may be ending. But Taiwan remains the biggest pressure point, because China views Taiwan as part of its territory. Meanwhile, the United States supports Taiwan strategically and economically. That creates one of the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints on Earth. Every military exercise near Taiwan sends shockwaves through global markets, because investors know the stakes. If conflict disrupted Taiwan's semiconductor production, the consequences could be catastrophic. Cars, phones, AI servers, defense systems. Entire industries could freeze. That's why analysts often call Taiwan the Silicon Shield. Its chip industry is so critical that it indirectly helps protect the island itself. But even America is nervous about depending too heavily on Taiwan. So the U.S. has pushed for more semiconductor production on American soil. TSMC has already expanded operations in Arizona, with multiple factories planned in the United States. Washington wants secure domestic chip supply chains, not because it's cheaper, because it's safer. National security now matters more than pure efficiency. That's a huge shift from the last 30 years of globalization. China, meanwhile, is trying to achieve technological self-sufficiency. And despite restrictions, Chinese firms continue making progress. Companies like SMIC have reportedly produced advanced chips using creative engineering workarounds despite Western restrictions. That has alarmed Washington, because every breakthrough China achieves weakens the effectiveness of American export controls. And the race keeps accelerating. But this conflict isn't only about chips anymore. Artificial intelligence has made the situation even more intense. AI systems require massive computing power. Massive computing power requires advanced semiconductors, which means the country leading in chips may also dominate AI. And AI is expected to influence everything: military targeting, cyber warfare, economic productivity, autonomous systems, scientific research, surveillance. This is why both sides view technological leadership as existential. Neither wants to fall behind. Meanwhile, ordinary people around the world are already feeling the consequences. Prices rise when supply chains break. Technology becomes more expensive. Companies split operations between geopolitical blocs. Some analysts even warn the internet itself could divide into separate technological ecosystems. One led by America and its allies. One led by China. Different standards, different platforms, different AI systems, different infrastructure, a fragmented digital world. And here's what makes this Cold War different from the last one. The United States and China are deeply economically connected. They trade enormous amounts with each other. American companies rely on Chinese manufacturing. Chinese companies rely on Western technology. This creates a strange situation. The two superpowers are rivals, but also economically dependent on one another. That makes the conflict incredibly complicated, because neither side wants full collapse. But neither side wants vulnerability either. Some experts compare semiconductors today to oil in the 20th century. Control the supply, and you gain enormous geopolitical leverage. But chips are arguably even more important. Oil powers machines. Chips power civilization itself. And unlike oil, advanced semiconductor manufacturing is concentrated in only a few places on Earth. That concentration creates enormous risk. There's also another hidden battlefield many people overlook: advanced packaging. Not just manufacturing chips, but connecting them efficiently into powerful AI systems. Some industry discussions suggest packaging technology could become just as strategically important as lithography itself. Because modern AI chips depend not only on transistor size, but on how components are stacked, cooled, and integrated together. The deeper you go into the semiconductor world, the more you realize how fragile and interconnected everything truly is. The scariest part is that nobody fully knows how this ends. Maybe the rivalry stabilizes peacefully. Maybe economic interdependence prevents escalation. Or maybe Taiwan becomes the spark that ignites the most dangerous crisis of the century. Because the military dimension is always there in the background. Warships in the Pacific, military exercises, cyber operations, strategic alliances, and beneath all of it, the race for technological supremacy continues non-stop. This is why the phrase Cold War is appearing more and more often. Not because America and China are identical to the US and Soviet Union, but because the competition now touches nearly every aspect of global power, technology, trade, military strength, artificial intelligence, economic influence, information systems. And unlike the last Cold War, this one affects every smartphone, every AI system, every computer server, and every supply chain on Earth. The next global superpower may not be decided by armies alone, but by who controls the world's technology. And every day, the battle between the United States and China grows more intense behind the scenes. From AI to semiconductors to Taiwan, the stakes are becoming enormous for the entire world. The question is no longer whether this Cold War exists, it's how far it will go. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our future.